not going to put that out there for you guys, and we just doing it just cause. So that's stupid.
Exactly.
It's stupid.
Exactly.
But listen, so moving forward, of course, you already know what time it is. It is 3:47, so we definitely want to get to our If You Only Knew story today, and Miss Octavia will be giving us that story.
Okay. I had someone contact me, and they wanted to share their story.
They're anonymous?
Yes.
Okay, they wanted to be anonymous.
They told me that they had an experience years ago that put them in a depressive state, and they started to get on drugs and use drugs very heavily. After using drugs for several years, that person ended up moving back to, I guess, the city they grew up in, and found out that they had HIV. After getting the treatment, this person felt like their life was over, but they continued to go to their doctor, to continue to get their treatments and do everything, and definitely pray, as this person stated, and found out a few years ago that the HIV was non-reactive, meaning that they still have it, but it was non-reactive in their blood work, being that it was not responding at that moment. So the medication actually was working, and they definitely feel better, and they talked to their children about it, and their children kind of motivated them to let them know that, hey, your life is not over. There's so much more you can do in life and not feel like when you have this disease, your life is over. So this person just wanted to basically share their story with me, and I felt honored that they came to me to share their story. And they wanted me to share it on the show. So I just wanted to do that person justice and share it correctly. And I wanted to make sure I had all the information correct before I said anything. But yeah, so they're doing great.
You know, first of all, so whoever that is, that was Psalms 15, and David asks God. He says, who can dwell in your sacred mountain? And one of the third thing God lists is speaking the truth from your heart. And I want to speak the truth from your heart takes courage.
Yes, it definitely does.
And especially in that situation she's in, because everyone doesn't. Because when you do look at the numbers, the numbers are astronomical as far as how many people end up contracting HIV.
Right.
But you don't hear that many people talking about that they have it. You know the people exist, but sometimes you may not know, which is perfectly fine.
Right.
But to be able to talk about it is a very big step. We actually had a lady in BSU come and talk about her being HIV positive and the effect that it had on her life. But she's, like she even said, she's doing well. She's able to medication, staying positive.
I mean, you wouldn't know, because this person looks very healthy, and they're doing everything they're supposed to do, and God allowed it to not be reactive, and so that person feels better. And I was just honored that they wanted to share their story with me, because most people do try to hide the fact or not talk about it because they don't know how you're going to take the news or whatever. So being able to come to me and tell me that story, it was just like, wow, like I really just wanted to cry, like, wow, you coming to me and telling me that. So, you definitely have to have strength and being able to tell your story. And so I'm just honored that person chose me.
And you know what? That's what I love about the If You Only Knew segment. Like I said, it is twofold to where what majority of people have been seeing recently is just the questions that we ask each other. But it goes a lot further than that. It really is all about sharing those stories. And you can be held anonymous, or you can tell your name.
Right.
We've had people do both. But it's all about being able to tell those stories, because we don't know who their story is going to affect. Exactly. We don't know who's watching. We hear people come up to us all the time saying, hey, I watch your show. I'd be like, what? You watch the show? I didn't know this, People go back and replay these things. And to hear that woman's story, or him and her, I don't know who it is.
Right.
Well, I guess it's her, because you did, I think, acknowledge it was a female. But I don't know. It doesn't matter. Him or her. To be able to be willing to share that story on this platform is not easy. So for anybody out there that does have HIV or that knows someone with HIV, you can remain strong with it. And it's always nice to have a support system, because like you said, she came to you and trusted you with that. So it's nothing like being able to have a great support system. Right.
And I used to work in infectious disease when I was that was actually my first job. And it was a very rewarding job because you see so many different types of people that come in, and some days are good days, some days are not good days. But a lot of them would sit there and share their story as to how it came about, and, whether it was sexually or drugs or, rape or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
To share your story definitely can help someone else. And just hearing those stories and hearing this person's story, it was like, wow, like, you never know what someone is going through, even though they smile and, and be and nice and don't even, basically acknowledge what's going on with themselves. They are still like welcoming people. And just because someone has that doesn't define who they are. So I just wanted to.
And again, that's what it's here for. And like Mr. Solomon said, a person's testimony, it can help somebody. So again, if you know someone battling with HIV, you know somebody, or you even have it yourself, it's okay. Right. Find someone to reach out to take the necessary steps to fight it.
Right.
I think because I knew somebody that in college that had it. We didn't find out till later on, but some of his close people knew. But when he passed away, it got out.
Oh wow.
So it was as if he didn't have a support system there, and it's a difference when you have a support system and people there you can talk to about it.
Right.
So again, get tested for one. It is a big deal. You can take the test and you can have the antibody. You have the antibodies in your system, but it won't show up for another 6 months, which completely blows my mind. I don't get that.
It is amazing because I've seen patients, get tested and come back and they have it. And they're like, how is this possible? And you have to sit there and explain it to them like, hey, it wasn't active at that moment, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it's not in your body. And I had a friend actually when I was in second grade that actually was born with it. See, she ended up passing away later.
That made no sense to me.
But she was born with it. Her father was actually on drugs, and he gave it to the mother. The mother didn't know until she had the baby.
See, so sharing is caring, as they say.
Right.
But get tested, and again, have that support system around you. And but most importantly, we want to thank him or her for sharing their story, for even educating their kids about it, and taking the necessary steps so that way they can continually strive and be strong. So salute to whoever you are, and to not only